Why would a country that is located 5,000 kilometers away from India invest heavily in one particular region? The country I'm talking about is Japan, and the region I'm referring to is Northeast India. And the answer here is that Japan is making a long-term investment. The investment to counter China's rise, the investment to mark its presence in Indo-Pacific, and also reassure the long-term partner India. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session we are going to understand in detail why Japan is betting heavily on Northeast India and how this is important not just for India but also helps India's purpose of developing Northeast itself. Now, when we are looking at this particular summit that has just concluded between India and Japan in our own country, this has reaffirmed that what we have seen in recent past, that Japan is concentrating its financial and diplomatic energies towards Northeast. Now, Japan as of now has emerged as the largest foreign development partner when we are looking at Northeast India, and this is not just concentrated only in one particular sector, but it is through infrastructure, connectivity, and also industrial projects. Now, this is where you have to also understand that infrastructure is not merely just about road, railway, ports, but this is also about how we are going to utilize this infrastructure, the connectivity, as the tools of strategic influence. For example, when we are talking about Kaladan multimodal project, when we are talking about trilateral highways, when we are talking about connectivity between nations, that is where we understand that how ports, how these connectivity corridors can enhance trade, can enhance better partnerships and more. Now, when we are looking at Japan's this kind of contribution, this also helps India because this directly aligns with our Act East policy and what Japan has in the name of free and open Indo-Pacific. So, it is not that it is only Japan that is reaping out of it, India is also heavily being benefited. Now, another bigger factor here is that China's rise is also being tried to counter. We will be discussing that in detail, but let us look at the fact that how this region as of now, specifically when we are talking about Northeast India, that it is not just India's frontier. India has always seen it as a gateway to connection with South Asia and Southeast Asia, and Japan's investment here shows that world also believes the very same scenario. Now, at the same time, when we are speaking so much about Northeast, we really need to understand that what makes Northeast so important. Northeast becomes important for two reasons, broad reasons here. First, from the perspective of national security. National security comes in from the fact that we have a very small corridor providing the connectivity between mainland India and Northeast India, and this corridor also goes by the name Siliguri Corridor, Chicken Neck Corridor. This is only 22 kilometers wide. Now, the proximity of this corridor to Bhutan, to Nepal and to China and also Bangladesh makes it strategically vulnerable. Apart from that, added proximity when we are talking about Teesta water management project which has been given by Bangladesh to China, China is literally 80 kilometers away from this Chicken Neck Corridor. Now, if we will not strengthen infrastructure here, enhance connectivity with mainland India, then this will always remain highly vulnerable. And if we want to dial this down, then we need to enhance our infrastructure so that our military mobility does not suffer, so that the disaster response can be better, so the opportunities, development, manufacturing, everything can be gradually enhanced. Apart from that, when we are looking from the factor of economic gateway, we have to understand that the land bridge to Asian markets is Northeast India only, because when we are talking about waterway through Bay of Bengal, this region, yes, but Northeast India gives us a direct entry towards Asian markets, that is through Myanmar, Indonesia and furthermore. This is where we can also focus on connectivity projects through Northeast India. Can you tell me in the comment section some important already in motion connectivity projects present in Northeast India? It also provides another alternative, the land bridge alternative to our Act East policy. And apart from that, when we are looking already at it economically, the resources, the potential of Northeast remains underutilized. Imagine utilizing it and how we can directly contribute to the macroeconomic numbers changing at the national level. Now, given these very factors, we are seeing a keen interest not just of India but Japan here to invest. Now, let us look at those reasons. Now, when we are talking about Japan investing, the first and the most basic factor that there is a strategic economics involved. Japan wants economic security. How they are talking about economic security? Japan understands that their eternal enemy, China, rules certain supply chains, be it of critical minerals, be it of rare earth and more. So, Japan is looking to diversify supply chains. And Japan knows that the China 1+ strategy is where India can be of great advantage. And that is why you will see that Zika projects all along India have been increasing. In addition to that, Japan clearly understands that what we should be doing here is that we should be friendshoring. The problems in semiconductors, advanced manufacturing, they should not be concentrated towards China. The manufacturing should move towards like-minded partners such as India. And where better to move it, where there is youth available, where there is resources available, where there is scope of development more as compared to other parts of the nation. And that is why Japan is heavily investing in terms of roads, bridges, water supply, healthcare, and Japan has also proposed Bay of Bengal Northeast Industrial Value Chain. Japan is not just investing in machineries and lands, Japan is investing in human capital as well, skill development, Japanese language training for the Northeast youth so as to ensure that this becomes the focus point of not just strengthening India-Japan partnership but also a place which will be giving dividends equally to Japan as well as India. This will bring in employment, this will bring in development, and this will also ensure better infrastructure and connectivity in Northeast, which is very much needed. But another question comes in, and it should, that when we are talking about such a vulnerable yet significant portion of our country, is it okay if we are giving so much power to a foreign entity? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section before I tell you more on this. So yes, when we are looking at it like this, we have to balance the pros and cons. We do have the advantages because we have the long-term capital from Zika at concessional rates. We have Japanese technology, engineering standards. It will accelerate the momentum of development that we are looking at, be it in terms of infrastructure, especially for a historically neglected region. And this is where India and Japan, who have had a legacy strategic partnership, that also gets extended. But when we are looking at the risks, there are many. We can't be over dependent only on one foreign partner. This is where we can look for diversification. And if you are looking at the current numbers, it is pretty much diversified. Apart from that, there are certain strategic leverages that Japan might have in coming time, which can yield economic influence. So that is something that India needs to understand. And most importantly, the security concerns around border infrastructure. That is critical and that needs to be regulated and kept in the Indian ownership as well. So when we are looking at foreign capital in such a vulnerable region, it can be there to complement, but it cannot replace what India has and what India can do, especially when we are talking about sovereignty itself. So what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. We will be discussing now the challenges as well, because when we are talking about the growth of northeastern region and we are talking how that this is the corridor which is vulnerable, we also need to talk about the partner countries along. Because when we are looking at Bangladesh, the recent events such as Mongla Port going for China, Teesta water management project going to China, this is where we have to understand the growth in this region will be impacted. Apart from that, Myanmar, conflict region. China is talking about Bangladesh-Myanmar China corridor, connectivity, China. But if we want to counter this, we would want some conflict to dial down. Then when we are looking at Northeast to develop, we have to handle situation sensitive issues such as tribal communities, their rights, the conflicts that are ongoing in Northeast region, the land acquisition, environmental clearances and more. And at the same time, another bigger challenges as of now is that the investment coming from Japan is highly driven by public enterprises, Zika, not by private entities. So this shows that the lucrativeness that Zika or Indian government is seeing, that might not be equally appealing to the private players itself. Overall, this partnership does help India. It helps in bigger purposes such as countering China's Belt and Road Initiative, marking presence in Indo-Pacific, enhancing Indo-connectivity, strengthening the Quad partnerships. Let me know in the comment section which are the 4 members, founding members of Quad. And it also supports India's ambitions such as manufacturing and semiconductor. And this is where we are seeing that Northeast is a place that we are not just focusing in terms of development, we are focusing in terms of integration with global value chains as well. Now on this note, I'll be leaving you here with a prelims practice question. Very easy question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. I'll be waiting for your answers. This is the question. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.